Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing today? Welcome to my channel. I am Art Walker. This is my live stream about drawing cool poses. I've got a couple of examples here that I will show you what we'll be getting into at some point today. So here we have some cool poses, females in cool poses. So that's basically what I'm hoping that we can cover today in this live stream. How you doing, Misaki? Nice to see you. So we will be looking at the anatomy as to how we draw certain poses like this one here. So I will take you through the basics of drawing the body, and then I will take you through the basics of how we can get these kind of cool poses just by understanding the skeleton underneath. So that's going to be the most important factor, that we understand the basics, then we move on to these cool type poses like so. So here we've got a kind of, let's say, cyberpunk looking, pretty cool outfit, but we've got a really nice pose, how she's standing there looking pretty strong. So this is basically where we're going to go with this. So as you all may know, I offer this service for free. All I ask is that you hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already, because this is also being recorded. This live stream is being recorded, so you can definitely watch the video. If you miss parts of it or you come too late, you can find it here on my YouTube channel, because we are recording as we speak. I'm doing good, mate. Oh yeah, thank you very much, Bombak. So I'm going to show you guys how we can draw cool poses like this, right? So I hope you all have a piece of paper and pencil or pen, and we will break it all down. Thank you very much, Glyn. That's really kind of you. But you guys and girls can do this also. No horses today, mate. You sent $10. Oh, thank you. That is very nice of you. That is really nice. Not often I receive $10 for the effort that I put in, but that's all good. They are cool. Thank you, Barantula. Tula? Yeah, good. So let's get into this. The key for I started something here, but I won't actually finish it. The key for me is the fact that you have to, if you want to understand how to draw people properly, for me it's important to understand a few basics, like proportion is very important, obviously, but one of the other basics that I find gets a little bit neglected is the position of the spine. How the spine determines how your pose looks. So for example, if I'm drawing a person, this line here is the spine. This, I'm adding the face, the facial details here. So we would have, I should have done my warm-up today. I didn't do my warm-up. I'm starting badly already. So this is basically how you can construct a person from scratch, right? Not as badly as that. I should have done my warm-up. I usually do the, in fact, I'm going to do my warm-up first. To anyone that joins, usually you see me do my warm-up. I jump straight into it. I don't know why. So I'm going to warm up my hand-eye coordination, and then my fine motor skills kick in a little bit. It's like driving a car. You have to warm it up first, and I didn't do it today. I was busy yesterday. Did a lot of gardening yesterday, so I'm a bit thrown off today. Arms are a bit tired. Good. Okay, so let's get back into it. I think I'm onto it now. No, I didn't look for it. I didn't look for the horse photographs. No, I've got other things to do, mate. I've got a busy life outside of searching for images of horses. So anyway, let's get back into this here. So this line here is very important to me, because this line determines where key body parts are, right? So if I highlight that in green, so you have to understand that the hips, I draw the hips as a funnel. Some people draw the hips like so, which works as well, right? But you have to understand how you can make that work for yourself. You have to understand where weight is distributed onto the legs and so on, right? So understanding the hips and shoulder position is for me crucial to drawing good poses, because if you tip your hip like this, chances are you're going to have all your weight on that hip. Is everyone getting that? Is everyone getting that? I just want to make sure everyone is kind of understanding that. How you doing, Volto? So now I'm going to continue with this pose here, and you can automatically see that, whoops, that this leg is carrying the weight from the hip here. Is that clear to everyone? I'm going to keep going with it. Let's just kind of, I don't know, let's put the shoulders like so, and then we can have the hands like so. The head I've made a slightly larger. I don't know why I've done it like that, and I'm drawing very scrappy at the moment, but the weight should be on this hip here, and this foot is actually leading backwards like that. It depends. So this is important when you are drawing that. You say, for example, if you draw the hips like this, you have to understand that the groin area is here, right? So now what you have to think about is, I personally like to just draw the funnel, but you can start playing around with that, and you have to think, where is the joints of the hips, where the knees are, and then what you're going to do with your second leg here. All right. See, this is very stiff. So you need to understand that when you add your cylinders here, you have to start to bend and adjust where they in what direction they're going in. You also have to understand, I'm really drawing scrappy today. I'll get into it in a minute. I think that yesterday was a bit heavy for me. It was a bit heavy for me yesterday. So if you look at this leg here, you have to understand that we are talking about cylinders here. This is very, very crucial to understand. And then obviously, if this was someone's leg and they lift their knee upwards, this is where the knee would be. If they lift their leg upwards, you would see that the leg would be lifted up like so. This is one area that we have to cover, right? So from the side, the leg actually looks like so. And then from the front, it would look like this. So this is important, because the higher it gets, the less we see of the circle or the thigh behind. So this is right behind us. Good morning, V. How are you doing? I'm drawing a bit scrappy today. My head's I've got a bit of a headache already. But I'm going to soldier on. So, as I said, dynamic poses, you have to understand that you have your hip tilt. I like to draw the hips like this. Some people draw them like that. Bear in mind the spine. This is what you have to understand as well, where the spine is at the back. Sometimes we draw it and it looks like it's at the front, but it's actually at the back, right? So our legs aren't 100% straight. And that's what you have to remember when you're drawing legs. They're not 100% straight. I have a tendency of sometimes over exaggerating my curves on my legs here. But as you can see, this leg already looks quite cool. The position does already look quite cool. So now I'm going to take this knee inwards and bend it that way. I'm starting to feel my flow now. As you can see now, we've got a pretty cool pose. Just by looking at it here, you can say, yeah, this is looking quite cool, right? And we could add our cylinders. I like to swap pens just to show you guys in full color what it could look like. So now this is where we add our cylinders. And then we add our calf cylinder. And also here. So we have a good idea of where the weight is distributed here. And then we've got one leg bent towards the front here. And we've got this, I would call it quite a shy pose. It's quite, it's quite dainty and elegant. It's more of a shy pose, right? So let me see. I struggled here. This was terrible. Yes, it does work with the mouth. As you can see, I should have had a warm up. The drawings will get better. They will get better. As you can see here. So it works also for the male hip, but I was aiming today for elegant poses, right? So if I was you, I would try, as I said, try and remember where the spine connects to the hips, right? So use that as your determining point. So you go spine and then hips. Remember, it's at the back, because that can be a little bit misleading. So for example, if I've drawn it like this, you have to make sure you know that is at the back. It can be a little bit misleading. And I found that when I was starting out, I used to draw things like, where is the front and where is it? But this is important, that you know that the spine is at the back, because then you add your other details. For example, I'm just going to add a square torso like so. This line now is quite misleading because it's at the back. So what I suggest you do is make sure you know that it is at the front, and then you would have your abdominals here. Your spine also determines obviously where your head should be. Obviously where the head looks is totally up to you. But there you can see we can add, I'll stop in a minute. So like so, like so, and then we will, make that a little bit longer. Like so. You see, I've a little bit over exaggerated there, the bend here. But that's what I tend to do sometimes. I go a little bit too wild here. That should be a little bit straighter. And then let's do this. Yeah, this leg is far too long today. Don't know what's going on today, guys and girls. I'm having a bit of a bad day with my sketching. I'm gonna have to fight through it. Yeah, this is not. The rhythm is not right today. I can feel it. The body is too short. I'm doing tutorials and I'm doing them wrong myself. Let's see if I can recover this. Sometimes you just have these days. Not too bad. Could be better. I'm feeling I can improve that. But there you go. Okay, bad. So I'm having a bit of a. I need to do some press ups or something. So okay, this is really cool. I like drawing that. Oh, okay, that's nice. Nice. Thank you for the follow, Leah. Sorry, I'm having a bit of a bad day today. Oh wow, all these. What are these, Glyn? Thank you very much for whatever you've sent me. It does work for male hips. Yes, it does. So I need these basically. Yeah, I do as well. I look like a bad day. Excuse me, but no, this is bad. I was that close to turning this over. I was that close. Seriously. So okay, I'm feeling a bit better about myself. I'm gonna get into my rhythm. I just feel like a bit. Oh dear. Oh dear. Feel a bit funny today. Good. Okay. So I'm looking forward to turning over this sheet of paper. So, like I said, right? Remember that we are dealing with cylinders. That's what I said up here, but with a pretty badly drawn one. I personally like to draw the funnel, right? So this type of shape. So get used to drawing that type of shape to determine your female form, right? So if I go like this, you can automatically see we've got a female figure. Would you not agree? See? And then what you do is, if you imagine we have this line running through it, the middle, if you tip this line in different directions, just random directions, point to point, you draw an ellipse. Let's draw a center line. Excuse me. So now I would have my center line roughly here. And then I would add my hips. Is everyone following that? Account not found. Is everyone getting that? So I've just chucked him out. Thank you for that. Can't be bothered. That is just ridiculous. But anyway, so now we'll do the same again. We will add our ellipses, which represent the hip, and then determine where the front of the body is. Say, for example, here. You see that? We can determine, obviously, that the front of the body is here, slightly at a different angle. So we have now got our funnel shape at different angles. You see what I mean? So this is important that you play around with this. Oops, that's blue, but I should have left it red. But this is important that you understand how the hips rotate. Makes sense. Good. It's very important. And this is why you can, but I don't know. It's just something I just don't use. You can do the same with this shape here. But I find it almost like you're doubling your work, because I still end up having to draw my funnel shape here anyway. But I suppose when it comes to adding, see, I always over exaggerate these curves. I need to slow down on those. So when it comes to adding the hip, it does help in that sense. Just depend. Maybe a combination of the two is the best way to do it. Maybe a combination of the two. Why not, indeed? So I'm going to pause the action quickly and see what's going on. Yeah, maybe a combination of the two helps a lot. In fact, let's just test that. Let's just test that. So if I was saying I like to have my funnel, but then why not combine our box shape over it? And it does actually work. I've never actually seen that myself. I've never thought of doing that. But it does actually work when you combine the two. Tick. Interesting. No problem. No problem, V. No problem at all. It makes no problem at all. Thank you for dealing with these situations. It's so sad that you can't even just draw the body and without people losing their minds. Oh dear me, it's just unreal. It's just like really. Ah. Yes, I do have a YouTube, and this is being filmed for the YouTube. That is where it is. Exactly. Really. Just go on another site. Go on a site that provides the things you want to see. Literally. There are other sites that you can go onto. You're not going to find much here. You're not going to find much here. So, okay, does anyone have any questions? If you like what you see, please hit the like button. And if you really like what you see, please share it. So, any questions? Did I just see Miss Heidi Alice? Thank you very, very much for the gifts. How you doing, Mazzy? You're one of the first to join me today, or to give me a gift today. Thank you very much. Happy Friday. Ah, Miss Heidi, I did see your name pop up just now. How are you doing? Long time no see, it seems. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I post every video, or I'm in the process of posting every video onto this channel. I have to look up. I've got holidays coming up actually, so I will be looking up how to go live on this channel. So be aware that that may change very soon, and I might actually start my lives here and then finish them up somewhere else, if you know what I mean. So be sure to subscribe to my channel, and then we will see how long this transition takes place, because maybe some of you already know, or maybe you don't, but I do not get any creative allowance from the channel that we are currently using, because I'm in Switzerland. So that has not made me very happy, because that means I am literally working for less than nothing. Not next to nothing, less than nothing. My one, for some reason, this stupid idea. Oh, right. Oh, okay. Oh, dear. Ah, yeah. Okay. Oh, good luck with your move. Moving is a nightmare. Okay. So, anyone got any questions? Anyone got any questions? And then we can get into some cool poses now. So what's the time? So we've got maybe another half an hour. So like I said, if you look at models, or say for example, even like poses like this with this young lady here, right? If you find an image like that, think about where the spine is, where the hips are, and where the shoulder is, right? The shoulder line, I should say, because the shoulders here are slightly upwards. She's lifting her shoulders upwards, right? So if I was to redraw this young lady here, can you just see that? Yeah, I'll do it. I'll show you in a minute. I would think about the spine line here. All right, so this is the spine line. Then determine where the hips are. As you can see, this is quite misleading because it looks like it's at the front, right? This is what I was trying to explain earlier. Make sure you realize that that is at the back. I know it's something a bit, what does he mean? But it's very important to establish that. So we can now draw the hips. This is the front of the body. This line represents the back of the body, right? So obviously the body has to follow the spine, right? So if I was to draw the body straight like here, along here, that would be wrong, because the body is like a box that's being tilted. So we tilt the box to follow the spine line. Or I should just say spine, but it's not actually a line, is it? Yeah, you get what I mean. So we're following that. So the spine is here at the back, here. And now this line, unfortunately, becomes the front. Do you see what I mean? That's why I find it's a bit confusing, because this line is now at the front and at the back. And that, I'm sure that confuses people slightly. I'm sure it does. Anyway, let me just see what's being said. Gotta go. Okay, your paper's just right. No problem at all. I'll deal with the rest. I will deal with the rest. So, like I said, this is something you have to understand. Here it was at the back, and now here is at the front, so to say. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Right, so now we've determined where the hips are. Now we can determine where her weight is being distributed. So, for example, here, we curve it outwards, and then we've got the thigh to the knee. So that would be here, and we curve it downwards. The same we're going to do here. Depends what you want to do with the leg. You can curve the leg inward here, or we can go outward. That's entirely up to you. I'm just going to go inwards here. Roughly the same knee position. It's a slightly different position than the one I've got here, but that's okay. I'm going to curve it again, not too much as I tend to do, and then again to here. Always checking our distances, roughly right, so it's not too bad. And then we can add our feet. So I've slightly changed it here. I've got a foot or a knee going outwards. Now, our spine line is still here. So we add our skull, and I want her head to be looking slightly to my left and tilted. So it's a little bit of a cooler pose. Just that alone tells you that we've got kind of a cool pose. Do you not agree? Thank you for the rose and all the other gifts that I've received. Much appreciated. And for the follow, Dijanada and Milo. Oh, thank you, Glyn. Well, is it amazing? I'm not sure. I'm getting into it now. Today, I couldn't find my gear today. The first few is only when I got to about 5 minutes in, I kind of woke up. But this was terrible. That's terrible. I don't think I'll post that. But it's getting better now. I'm feeling I've found my gear now. Has anyone got any questions about that? Anyone got any questions about that? So, and if you like what you see, please hit the like button. And if you're not following, please do. And if you like to watch this video again, you can find it here. By the end of the day, it should be here. Not sure if I can. We'll see what I do. If I do anything tomorrow, I might even do features for you. Yeah. Read mini. What's mine? What should I read? A line? What am I reading? I don't understand. I have no idea. Got to go. Honestly, it is as cool as the stands in. Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, they do have really dynamic, yeah, poses. Yeah, you're right. Do you do adult coloring books for Amazon? No. Should I? That's a good idea. Glenn, should I do that? That's a very good idea. I'm so jealous because of your detail. No, don't be jealous. That was terrible. That was terrible. That was really bad. See, I made a mistake badly today. I was actually feeling a bit embarrassed by it. I was a bit like, oops. Maybe I need to pretend there's a glitch. I just didn't find my gears today. You're welcome. You're welcome for the tutorial. Yes, we're going to do shoulders now. Yeah, I'll leave that here for now. Now we'll do the shoulders. So if you... That's a good idea, actually. Okay, I'll bear that in mind. So let's keep going. Right, so now, here, this, if you imagine we've got our spine like so, and then we've got our body here, right? So this is the rib cage. Remember, this line now is at the back and at the front. We have our head here, like so. What I like to do is I like to draw a curved line, like so, to represent the shoulders. You see that? That helps a lot. Because if you have a straight line, it can be very straight. But if you want to express the shoulders being slightly higher, you can curve that line like so. I find that works for me. Obviously, you have to use that in the right context. But if, like now, the shoulder's very high, but that helps. And then you've got your hips. Now I'm trying to think about what could she be doing with this arm. She could be pushing it out to here, like dancing. And then it works. Because she's almost doing like a cha-cha-cha where I don't even know what cha-cha-cha is, but never mind. I just made that up. Never mind. Right. So just make it up, mate. And like I said before, never thought of this. You can combine the box technique with the funnel. I didn't realize that before, like I showed you here, because that does actually help you. Whoops, am I nearly off camera? That does actually help you. That does actually help you determine where the hips belong, the thigh, and so on. That can really, really make a big difference, I find. And that's what I'm going to do here. We would almost add the box technique here. And then we've got the genital area here. And then let's draw one leg coming down like that. And then the other one like this. Don't over curve it like I do. So I'm just doing it gently. And then let's just continue. I like to change colors so you guys can see properly. Continue with red. This leg is in front. I haven't added the knee. And so on. So we've got pretty elegant pose didn't take too long. We just have to add the feet and so on. I've jumped the gun a little bit because I didn't add the cylinders, right? So this is where you can add your cylinders, because I just started to fly through it. You add your cylinders and that helps. Where's this arm going? I have no idea. I'm just going to, shoulders are a bit broad. I'm just going to put it behind here. Measure roughly here. And then we can add our cylinders. And then I always tend to draw the hands like that. I don't know why, but it's almost like she's just kind of sliding around. Oops. Was it? Yeah, sorry about that, Caroline. I won't do that. I won't do that again. Excuse me. But you can see the shoulder's a little bit broad here, but you can see that you've got this movement. You've got this real distribution of weight, right? So going back to this young lady here, like I said before, we can curve the shoulder here, and that tells us roughly where our shoulder position is. You see that? It helps to give the shoulders a little bit more of a lift. Yeah. And then we can add the neck details. I think we're good with that, right? Is everyone... yeah, sorry about that. The minute I start combining stuff like that, then it all goes wrong. I'm sorry. I won't do that anymore. And I always think, oh, I remember. And then I don't. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. So thank you for the follows and for the shares. And if you like what you see, please hit the like button. And if you're not following me, you should, because this is being recorded and you will find the video here. So please subscribe if it's helpful to you. And yeah, we're going to go on to bigger and better things. So if you don't know my artwork and you like anatomy stuff, this is where we're going to go. And what else have I got here? What did I do recently? Oh yeah, no, this is an old one, but I did drawing the human skull, stuff like that. So I'm quite flexible when it comes to my artwork. So if you like what you see, check me out. So let's finish off this young lady here. So this line is not right. I can see that already. So let's reduce the skull there. Good. Better. So now, what I wanted to do was, okay, yes, let's add the arm, measure the arm roughly from shoulder to elbow, just around the end of the rib cage, right? So this is variable. It varies slightly. And when she's leaning on something here, distance is roughly the same here. And then we've got the hand leaning on this object. Then remember, when we have overlapping, like her arm here is a set of overlapping cylinders. What do I mean? So we have one shoulder joint here, elbow here, wrist here. What do I mean by that? Let's go up. So now I'm going to add my cylinders. I'm going to add the cylinder at the front first because we can't see what is at the back. So we have front cylinder, then back cylinder. And then we would have, excuse me, then we would have our shoulder area here. You see that? Front cylinder, back cylinder, shoulder area. Is everyone getting that? Any questions? And then obviously we would add the other shoulder and the chest, so on. And then back to the hips here. Any questions, anyone? I will give you a moment. So that same technique I would use here. Roughly measure where the elbow belongs. Let's say it belongs here. Same height to my shoulder here. And then we combine the two. Oh, Wendy, yeah. Today I started very late, actually. Today, I thought this is the first one for today. But, Wendy, you can find it here. I will be posting this. I should keep shifting everything. Today is a bit of a rough day, actually. You can find it here. You can find the whole tutorial here. Yeah. So if you like what you see, please hit the like button. If you really like what you see, subscribe to my YouTube and you'll find the whole video there. I will be uploading that probably immediately today. So this is how I drew this young lady, right? So let's keep going. I add my cylinders here and here. I like to add the cylinders the same shape as the arm. Originally, I used to add them very, very basic. But now I broaden it and then I reduce it here. I broaden it here and then I reduce it here. I find that's a bit more helpful than just having a really blocky, ugly cylinder, that's not organic looking. I try to make it a little bit more organic. And then if I need to add any muscle to it or just some contouring, it doesn't have to be big muscles, but I find that that's a little bit gentler already. You can work with it already. Just like that. You intend to give back to artist community and appreciate it. So yeah, that is exactly why I'm doing it. I don't know how long I can keep it up. Not sure, because as I said, I don't get any allowance from this channel that I'm currently on because I'm in Switzerland. So I don't mind doing this for free. I really don't mind doing it for free, but I'm not going to line the pockets of people that are multimillionaires. I'd rather not do it. And in fact, if I do get the opportunity to create my own website and do it on my own platform, I will do it on there. And then it's just about whether I can get people to go there instead. Oh, thank you, Lemon Layer. I'm happy. Please share my work and repost it. And repost it to any of your friends. This will just help me to grow. Because obviously, as I say, I don't mind doing it for nothing, but it's a give and take. If you guys support me, then it gives me the enthusiasm. If you don't, then I'll be just like, well, nobody really cares, so I might as well just charge by the hour, which I know I could do. Thank you, D Art. Thank you very much. I will make a note of your name. I'm not sure, because I think it's important. For me, it's important that everyone learns to draw. I find it's one of the most neglected subjects in school, and the subjects I find that are more what's the word? Not supportive, but that nurture your spirit are not being supported in our school system, like dance, music, even pottery or sculpting. Any kind of art form is never being supported. And I have the feeling that when I teach, it's almost like, oh, that's the guy that teaches to draw, It's like you're almost like a second class citizen, It's kind of funny. It's like, oh yeah, he's the art guy, and everyone's like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm just the art guy. No. Today this morning I was a bit. I think I did a little bit too much in the garden yesterday. I was a little bit worn out this morning, and I couldn't find my second gear. That's why my drawings were really rubbish. See, look at that. That is really rubbish. I'm going to actually write that there. So when you guys see it, you know not to draw like that. That is rubbish. Whoops, I can't even spell rubbish. Rubbish drawings. Absolute rubbish. But then I got into it. I did get into it. But I was struggling here. I was like, oh. Good. Okay. I digress. Let me see quickly. Where am I from? I'm from London, but I'm living in Switzerland. I was in an art class in school. My teacher always marked me bad, so I stopped it. I started again. Yeah, I'm an art teacher. I am teaching art, but I've never gone to art school. But I can guarantee you, a lot of these art teachers say no more. Say no more. I am not even going to go there. Create your own art app. My daughter is learning how to draw from an app my husband pays for. Okay. That's going to be tricky. That is a lot of work. Creating an app is a lot of work. If I found someone that could create an app and they could say to me, you do this, you do that, I'll do the rest, we will go half, I would do it happily. But I'm going to have to leave it in the hands of the gods. I don't have the capacity. I struggle with the YouTube, the TikTok, and the Discord, and then life around that, So, yeah. How do you incorporate? Yeah, that's a good one. I can't do that one today. The hair, then that is a totally different tutorial, because that's about maybe motion and wind, where the wind is blowing, and also movement. If she's moving, this is where the hair will move in different directions. This is quite complicated, and I would have to research it before I would do a live on that, to be honest. Sorry that I can't help you on that one. Malone 22. I also never been an art school. Yeah. And that you have absolutely amazing artists, amazing. And it's self-expression. Unfortunately, the world that we're living in doesn't really appreciate self-expression. The zombies, you got the zombies, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately. Anyway, I digress no further. I'm sure you guys didn't want to hear that. Are you covering anything else today? Not sure. I want to finish this one today, and then we'll see how we get on. Because then I got to go to work actually very soon. My art teacher hated me. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, no comment. So anyway, let's get back to it. Let's not digress anymore. So here, as I say, don't fall in love with your lines. I could have actually softened the rib cage line here. I made it a little bit straight. So don't fall in love with your lines and say, okay, well, I'm just going to leave it like that. Like here was a slight mistake. Soften that curve. Yeah. So not to forget, don't forget your cylinders, right? And as I did say earlier on, try and shape your cylinders like the actual human leg. Because then you start to realize gradually how the body is shaped. So we have the dip here, as you can see. That's just a little tip. I'm going to do the same dip on this side towards the knee. So we've got this gentle dip, and we don't have this rigid, blocky cylinder shape, like so. Now you can see the pose taking shape. We add the calf. So we have the knee area here, and then we add the calf, and so on. I'm not going to go too big. Keep it quite slender. Little jut at the calf here and down. And then here, probably see a little bit less. We've got more bone, shin bone here. And then the back here. And that's basically how I would construct a character like that. And then obviously, you know, this is where when you're sketching it up here, you're constantly searching for the right line. See, after this line, I've corrected it again, right? Because you want to catch the energy. And she's holding some sort of weapon here, right? So if she's got the weapon here and she's got her hand leaning on some robot head, once you get this right, once you get this part right, that's when you can say, right, I am going to add all my details to it. Clothing, let's add some, what can I call those? What can I call those? I'm scared to even mention it. Some cleavage. I'm scared to say what they are. The sacred mounds, I'm going to call them. So we can add the sacred mounds and so on. I don't even know why I call them that. And then we add the abdominal area. We can soften that slightly like so. And then obviously we've got our brow line, eye line, ear, and then we're pretty much done. You don't know what to say anymore. You see what I mean, Caroline and Q? It's just like, what do you say? I just like, oh, sacred mounds. I think I'll just call them that because no one can say that it's a bad thing. What a strange world we live in. There you go. So that's basically how I would recommend you draw cool poses. Close enough. I know. Oh, mate. I'm so scared of getting flagged, you know, and I'm just like, oh, what do I say here? What do I say? Especially when you're drawing the body. Come on. I don't know. How would the legs look if they're in a seat? Right. If they're in a seated position, it depends on what kind of. What I tend to tell people a lot, right, or what I tend to do myself is draw the chair first. If that's my chair, and then what I would do is I would place my hips on the chair. My hips, you know what I mean? I would place the hips on the chair. So these are the hips. And then obviously when someone is seated, usually their knee is a little bit higher than the actual chair. So the blue line is my chair, right? So the knee, let's let her sit in quite a delicate and decent position, like so. So why have I done that? Because here, that's the hip here. And then I've got to add, she's got really long legs, this young lady, my cylinders, like so. Extremely long legs. Well, it's not too bad if I make the hips a bit wider. This would be the front of the knee, and this would be the thigh here. So we've got someone sitting, and if her feet are slightly on their toes, so to say, we can show a little bit of the heel here, and then let's add that one here. So we've got a kind of cute looking pose. And then obviously we would have the the stomach, and then the body here. Did you get that? And then this would be the shin bone, the calf. I think I've pushed that a little bit too forward. Yeah, that's a little bit too wide. But you get the idea. That's how I would build on that. Yeah, this is another sitting on the ground. What does that mean, you know? But at the end of the day, if you look at anyone sitting on the ground, so I don't know what you mean by sitting on the ground, because people can sit on the ground in so many ways, right? So you still have to think of cylinders in front of cylinders. So if this is the hip, this is the thigh, and then I add one cylinder, I have to also think about where does the second cylinder land, or where does it overlap the first one? Do you see what I'm saying? You have to understand, where do they overlap? But that's where that's something totally different. We're talking specifically about poses. But I would look at a reference, and then I would dissect the reference. I would break down the reference and think, okay, let me think now. Let's go back to poses. Hips. And then I want one leg going this way. As I said, I keep doing it over dynamic. And then I want the other leg going behind. And what you have to do is try and work out if the energy is right in what you're drawing. Like so. If it doesn't feel right, that means it's wrong. And then that means you might have to fine tune it. So we have the front here, then we have the oblique, and so on. Exactly. But I would definitely grab a reference, you know, and then, like I tried to illustrate here before, what I tried to illustrate there before was, you know, you have to try and capture this motion, right? And you have to capture the weight distribution. So if the shoulders are tipped like this, how should the hips be tilted? Do you see what I mean? It's like, how should they be tilted? Yeah, because if I tilt them in the wrong way, then it's just going to look weird. Do you see what I mean? Because you can only tilt your hips and your torso together on one side and away on the other side. Do you see what I mean? You have to really work these things out and say, okay, so if the spine is like this, how would the hips be? On what side? And then you say, okay, this side. Then you've caught the motion, the energy motion there. And then after that, you add your head. And then you've got your person tilting and maybe one arm up. And then let's add a bit. Add the thigh, and then like that. So we've got a kind of ultra cool pose. We just have to check our distancing. Why not just let's keep going with that quickly. And then it's like, like that. What did I call the mounds of sacred mounds? We're adding the sacred mounds. And there we go. Pretty cool. I quite like that pose. Looking pretty cool. Maybe I would reduce the muscles on the legs a little bit, but as a whole, we've got quite a cool pose. I'm not doing shading today. I'm sorry. I've got work in an hour or so, and I can't stretch the tutorials too long. If you haven't hit the like button, and if you're not following and you're watching, would be nice if you did follow, because you would be supporting my channel, and it doesn't cost you anything, if I'm to be fair. But I will be uploading this video on YouTube, so if you're interested, please subscribe to that and you can watch it on there. Good. Okay, well, this has been an hour. I think we've covered it pretty good. Not sure if I want to post that sheet, but I probably will, but I'll post it as a second sheet. So yeah, thank you to all that took the time to join me. Thank you to all that are following me and appreciate what I'm doing. And thank you for your very, very kind gifts. And I will see you again very soon. I hope you learned something from this. And if you did, please let your friends know where you learned it. Sharing is caring, so to say. Thank you, V and Mazzy, for doing your amazing job with moderating. And oh my God, amazing anatomy. This is different. This is more anatomy. If that's what you like, Jobs, you're in the right place. So as you may know, this is the kind of stuff I do. I do vary it a bit. I go from kind of manga-ish to very classic anatomy stuff, and also a little bit of comic stuff as well. Cyber stuff. Good stuff. Okay. I wish you all a lovely weekend if I don't see you guys again. And we will catch up again very soon. Have a good day. Take care. Cheers. Jemiah. Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. Oh, thank you for the gift, whoever just sent that. Much appreciated. Cheers.